children, it is me, Mrs. Meowth, and I will be teaching you about percents and decimals today.
Mrs. Meowth, what are you doing on the chalkboard? Get off the chalkboard. Come here. Gotta teach the lesson over here. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about percents and decimals today. The biggest thing to remember is that any number you have over 100, that's how you write it as a percent.
That is correct.
All right, Mrs. Meowth, if you're going to teach today, you can't be licking the kids, okay? Hey, or you can't be licking me either.
One way to think about percents, kids, is to think percent means out of 100. So if you were to go shopping and you saw that something was 50% off, that means you would save 50 cents for every dollar that you spent.
So one way to write 50 cents is just to write it as 50 hundredths. So think about percents like it's pennies. This means you have 50 pennies, 50 cents, you write that as 50%. So if you had like 74 hundredths, one way you can write this would be to write it as 74 over 100, 74 hundredths. Or you could say this is like reading it 74 cents. And so 74 cents means you have 74%. 74 hundredths means you have 74%. So no matter which way you look at it, the answer is going to be 74. Another example is 8 tenths. You would write 8 tenths as 8 over 10. And if you made that fraction equivalent to out of 100, you would multiply 10 times 10 to make 100. And then you would multiply 8 times 10 to make 80. And so for 80 over 100, if you look back up here, the numerator over 100 equals the percent. So you would say this is the same as 80%, or yeah, 80%. And if you look at this number here, remember there's a 0 behind it, so this decimal looks like 80 cents, and that's how you would write it as a percent, 80%. Another example would be if you had a number like 1 and 25 hundredths, you could write this to look like $1.25, which is the same as having 125 pennies. And so if you had 125 pennies, you would have 125 cents. So you would write that as 125%. My last example would be if you had a weird number like 62 thousandths, where you have a 0 in front. What I would do is I would still look at the first two numbers, because that tells you how many pennies you would have, right? So that would be like saying, I have 6 cents. I have 6 pennies. So you would write that as 6, and then whatever number goes after that would be your decimal. So this would be 6.2%. Okay? All right, those are all my notes I have for percents and decimals. Tomorrow's video is going to be the test review, going over the answers and how to solve the test review questions. I should have that on YouTube as well today, so if you want to watch it today, you're more than welcome to go to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Mr. Santos Math.